Hello and welcome to the Europe Conversation. I'm Stefan Grobe. My guest today is Milojko Spajić, the Prime Minister of Montenegro, the fourth youngest head of government in the world. So youthful greetings, Prime Minister, to you, and thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me, and congratulations on the great pronunciation of my name, which is not the easiest one to pronounce. So thank you.
Thank you
for that.
Thank you.
And
so the European Commission considers Montenegro as the first-ranked front-runner among all the candidate countries. So what's going to happen next? Can we chill the champagne?
I mean, it's great to be called front-runner, but it's much harder to attain that status, obviously. And many other countries are doing great. We see that, and we are happy for that. And we are actually, this is not a competition. We are really not in a zero-sum game. Here, all of us, Montenegro is obviously has done the. We open all the chapters. Now we are closing. We are having IGCs and keep closing and have a pretty nice tempo of temporary closing the chapters. So I'm pretty happy how the things are going so far. We have a stable government. We have, full focus on reforms. July was a fantastic month for us. Like a couple of months now as well, we are again speeding up with the execution in the parliament, which is very important. So I'm pretty happy how things are standing now.
Is there a date that you're eyeing, and if yes, what is it?
So we had this two nice taglines. One was 28 by 28, to be the 28th member of EU by 2028, and the second one was 26 chapters by 2026. So that was back then. Now it's a little bit less, but we are gunning for closing all the chapters by end of next year. And I think we have a really great chance to have a new member state in the mandate of this European Commission.
So when you talk about enlargement, there are two dimensions to this issue. There is there are the technical criteria that you all fulfill, and then there is the political will.
Sure.
Now, so far, there hasn't been a decision yet when Montenegro will be accepted. Do you fear that there are still some powers at work here that could derail your accession to the EU, powers that you have no control over?
I think that the technical side, like when you first mentioned, is extremely important. So never to be forgotten that we need to do our fair share of the tasks, and we have to be ready for the entrance. And it's in our own interest. It's in the interest of the whole union, because obviously we want, once we join EU, we want to add value. We don't want to detract value. So we want the EU to be richer with us in. And this is truly what we really believe in. So with all the reforms that we are going to do, with the economic growth that we will see in the next couple of years, we think we'll be a great candidate, and we will be somebody that EU will be richer with. Secondly, obviously political support is very important. We need all the 27 member states to truly believe that it's in their national interest to see Montenegro as part of EU. We need to convince them in that. And I think most of them, or I would say all of them, are more or less there, but we cannot relax. We have to be very focused on the great relations with all the 27 member states. Obviously, there are member states that are a little bit more conservative towards the enlargement as a concept. So we have to work very hard on those countries. They're the ones that are very focused on the rule of law, and obviously Balkan countries traditionally have been focused in terms of that. So we have to do absolutely. We've done a lot of reforms, as evidenced by the interim benchmarks last year, and as Chapter 5 that we closed this year. That's one of the fundamental chapters. But again, this is just the beginning. We have to do a lot more. We have to showcase that we are doing a great job in terms of rule of law.
There's big popular support in Montenegro for your country joining the EU. I think 80% or something of people in Montenegro want to join the EU. Do you fear that this level of support and excitement might decrease if the whole process keeps dragging on?
Yeah. I think that's a fair point. You know, that's a great question and fair point that you just made. And we see historically support for EU accession of Montenegrins was always around 55, 60%, 55-ish%. There was a majority, but not a very strong majority, until this government came in. So since we came in, and the optimism about the EU enlargement really took, people felt it's really real this time. You know, you had plethora of prime ministers who were coming out in front of people saying, "Hey, you know, we are doing this for European integrations. We're politically trying to motivate the public administration to work hard, etc." But you know, like public administration was not at some point of time was saying, "Hey, this is like the people are changing and the same story is going on." And but I think finally this time around, people really believe it's possible.
Montenegro is a very diverse country, culturally, ethnically, at a time when diversity almost has become a negative connotation. I want to ask you, to what extent do you think this diversity in your country will be an asset for Europe?
That's a great point, and you know, with tolerance, with culture of building consensus, with culture of looking at the future, not looking at the past, or at the culture of a non-zero-sum game. So, as I say, like a win-win, striving for win-win situations. Even countries that are as diverse as Montenegro, which is in Europe, there's no other country without ethnic majority. We are probably the only ones. You know, Montenegrins 40-something%. Then we have Serbs at 30%. We have Bosniaks close to 20%. We have other groups like Albanians and Croats in significant numbers. Most recently, the Ukrainians and a bit of Turks and others. So these are like, you know, the people. We are a very, very diverse country, and but we are proud of that. And
let's assume that Montenegro will join the EU soon. Do you think this would have a galvanizing effect for the whole process in the Western Balkans?
This is what I'm trying to say, and I think we can be a fantastic bridge and a big help to all of the other countries. You know, to not only speed up reforms, but also to politically help them and to translate a little bit. You know, sometimes difficulty to understand the Western Balkan circumstances. That, you know, obviously for the cultural or other reasons, you know, it's not always easy to understand the Western Balkans.
So Montenegro has adopted the euro as its currency since 2002, I believe.
We actually we did this with Deutschmark first. So we got grandfathered into the Eurozone.
Wonderful. So you have the euro, you have aligned Montenegro's foreign policy with the EU. That begs the question, is there any alternative for Montenegro?
I'm not even thinking, nobody's thinking about the alternatives. You know, EU members, full membership of the European Union is what we are gunning for, what we are up there for. And I think it's just a fair point. You know, we are surrounded by European Union. We are, as you already said, we are already with SEPA now. Just recently, we have introduced SEPA to our system. Very soon, we'll have free roaming with the European Union countries. So we are integrating in the single market at the extent unseen until now. So we are looking at, we just had the European fantastic conference held in Luštica in Montenegro between European Union and Montenegro on the investments coming from EU. We are building our infrastructure using the EBRD, EIB, and other IFIs coming from Europe. So we are really truly integrating and further with Europe, with political Europe, with EU. So this is our goal.
I want to follow up on this,
Sure.
because you have been touting Montenegro's green, sustainable development and digital transformation. We've talked about investment.
Yep.
What is it that Montenegro brings to the table? And because some observers say that Montenegro was more progressive than some old EU members.
Depends on I wouldn't compare us to anybody else. It's kind of difficult to compare because we are really a small country, and which has its benefits as well. And being a small country and a country that is not really burdened with these ethnic tensions so this is a factor that basically relieves, and also our income per capita is highest of all the candidate states. So as we are seeing with our most recent census, we have seen a slight increase in population in the last 10 plus years. So we are not likely to see big emigration or people leaving Montenegro, but rather than actually some of the Central or Western Europeans might consider living in the nice weather and in a country of relatively low taxes as compared to the other options. So and the friendly system, nice food, and so Montenegro is a place that I think many Europeans obviously, and many Montenegrin kids will go to universities around Europe, and many people from our public administration might come to work in Brussels. So as a part of EU, there'll be a labor movement, and I think Montenegro is unlikely to see a big number of people leaving the country. But going back to the point of the benefits of Montenegro joining, I think we can be a fantastic, really good bridge to the other candidate states, as through our ethnic fabric, through our understanding of the whole region, through our shared history and the culture and the values. I think we can really help bridge this gap that is sometimes existing, and also I think what we also bring to the table is as a small dynamic economy, is a country that can be seen as incubator of some of the more progressive ideas in terms of innovation, and it's not burdened with the old vested interests that some other big countries have. But we don't have as much developed these industries, so it's naturally we are positioned. We have a very it's not that hard to change our legislation, etc. We are much more flexible on this.
On something totally different.
Sure.
So due to the wars in what used to be Yugoslavia, there is still a large stockpile of weapons in circulation in Montenegro, and together with Serbia, people own the most weapons in Europe, namely 39 per 100 inhabitants. And this is surpassed only by the United States and Yemen, which is, of course, in a civil war. How does this dangerous legacy influence society, and are you at odds with the rest of Europe on this?
No, this is a great question, and this was what we were targeting this year, actually. So it's the newest measures that we've actually had thousands of pieces of weapons of the people voluntarily returning. We have increased the penalties for holding weapons without the proper permits. We have made the permitting system very, very strict. So I think the number that you took is probably from maybe 3 or 4 years ago. As of now, the number is at least at half of that. So because of the really swift action we've taken in the last couple of years. So I think definitely they are some of the remnants of the past, but we are overcoming these.
Another remnant of the past is travel of Russians to Europe. The EU has restricted visa travel from Russians to the EU. What about Montenegro? There are a lot of Russians who own property in Montenegro. There are a lot of Russians coming and visit. What's going to happen once you're a member of the club?
We follow the European common foreign security policy to the 100% extent. So as you have seen, and it's not only the current government, it's been like last 5 governments or something for 13 years. And this is a very something that Montenegro is proud of, and that we are constructive. Even before having membership status and membership benefits, we behave as a member state. So we will fully align with the visa policies of European Union, and there's absolutely nothing. Obviously, we are a tourist country primarily, so we are trying to get as many tourists from all kinds of places. The Russian tourists are actually not as numerous as they used to be before. The real estate holding that was maybe some 15, 20 years ago was way higher. Now the Russians are just like one of the groups, including Germans, Italians, Serbs, Bosniaks, Albanians, and the other foreigners who are holding the real estate assets in Montenegro. So it's much more diversified now, and we are not too worried about the trends. But obviously, as a tourist country, we are trying to have this policy. We are trying to have this policy, but of the as easy travel to Montenegro as possible. That said, we will fully align with all the visa policies of European Union very soon.
I have a personal question, if I may.
Please.
When you were, I was tempted to say young, but you are young. When you were younger, you studied in Japan and China.
I did.
I wonder how that experience has shaped your thinking.
That this is a question I don't get to be asked actually a lot. So thanks for that. I studied undergrad in Japan for 5 years, and I was under the Japanese government scholarship called Monbuka Gakusho. And it was at the time when Japan was like second largest economy in the world, and Japan was a very, very significant partner to the United States and to Europe. And this is actually something that I would like to work on politically as well, to be sort of a bridge between Japan and European Union in the future, amongst other things. I forgot to say that because of this cultural and other ties that I have with Japan, and I feel it's I can easily say my second home, and I have a lot of friends in Japan. And I stayed there for 5 years. I was on an exchange in Tsinghua University in Beijing on learning Chinese language. So that's another. It was another blessing that I had from Asia. I lived afterwards in Singapore for 6 years, combining the Mandarin language, Japanese language skills, and understanding of the broader Asia Pacific region, as a distressed credit analyst at Goldman Sachs. So these are all experiences that actually help me in the job that I'm doing now, in things that actually I didn't believe would be useful to a politician. And if somebody asked me at 6 or 7 years, would you be a politician, and being in a role that I'm doing now, I wouldn't be able to say that I would believe that the person. I would think he's crazy or something, because I'm an introvert personally. I'm not really a classical politician. Really. I'm not a classical politician. But that said, I think the patience that is maybe not characteristic for somebody my age, mixed with the passion and mixed with the resolution. In Japan, they say kodawari is like the focus on the goal and focus on what you want to achieve. But at the same time, strategic patience, and also there's this concept called ba concept in Japan, which I think we should have more in Europe and in Balkans for sure, but in Western cultures in general. There is, you should have your opinion, your contribution to the table. But at the same time, your contribution, your addition to the table shouldn't be detrimental to the harmony of the table. So while giving your addition and your card, your cherry on top of the cake, you shouldn't destroy the cake. And this is something that I think we can definitely learn from the Japanese, and we can learn from the Eastern cultures.
And on that note, Milojko Spajić, Prime Minister of Montenegro, thank you so much for coming on today. Great conversation.
Thank you very much for calling me in.